It has been quite a while since the crew from The Land gave their thoughts about what's going on in Major League Baseball and with the Cleveland Guardians organization. It's going to be a packed show. We're going to condense it down. A lot to talk about. What's up, everybody? Prospects of the Land is back after about a month off. Hey, we're starting to get into the flow. Spring training is coming up. We'll get the show more regular. Don't you worry about that. But as always, Taven McCauley up top with me, down below Ethan Greenberg. Fellas, did we have a good holidays? We haven't talked since then, really.
Yeah, good holiday, right? As you said, first show in a minute, first one of 2026. I actually got the notification right as we booted up. Posted Prospects of the Land posted for first time in a while, so that kind of shows you how long we've been out. But yeah, I've had a good holiday. Obviously, college football playoffs been fun to watch. NFL playoffs been fun to watch as of recently. Cavs not so much, but the sports world has been pretty good as of recent. So yeah, good holiday and everything's going good. Ethan.
Oh, everything is all right. It is definitely good to be back in the saddle again with you fellas. I am actually ready for spring training because, well, at least the Guardians give effort. After a lackluster, a crap-luster season by the Clowns, and we're waiting now to figure out who the next head coach will be, and the Cavs' inconsistencies, which has left me more disappointed than the Browns. I'm ready for the Guardians. Despite all of their flaws, I am ready to see them because they do, in fact, give effort. But yes, the holidays were nice. It is back into it, full go, full steam ahead. And, glad to be back with you guys. What about you, Nate? How are your holidays, sir?
Oh, they were great. I got a good old vinyl record player. We've been pumping that thing on repeat here in the apartment. Love it. Love the physical media. Love it. Always. So
are you doing the DJ work? Are you scratching cha-ching, cha-ching?
Oh, don't scratch my vinyls, man. Don't.
Are you
don't do that.
Are you the Gary Delabate Baba Booey of the show with your
No?
Hey, both. I got 100 pieces of vinyl. Oh, both.
Hey. We're working our way up to 100. I think we're at 10 or 12 right now.
All right, good collection there. Good collection.
Yeah, we're getting there. Oh man, we bought some good stuff. We've gotten Michael Jackson's Thriller. We have Prince's Purple Rain. We got all the good stuff. So.
Do you play any of it so much that someone might take said record and break it over their knee?
My neighbors haven't complained yet, so.
Well, that is good. That is good. My brother could tell a story about something that was apparently played too often and disturbed a parental figure and might have gotten broken over a knee.
It's all right. My parents have stories about my one of my uncles playing Smoke on the Water for way too long.
Taven, if only you knew, buddy.
Yeah. It's all right. Not for everybody.
What
is for everybody is baseball. And the first big thing we got to talk about is Guardian specific because Steven Kwan has been signed to avoid arbitration. I don't usually like using the word signed when it's avoiding arbitration. They have simply reached an agreement, but somewhere in the cap of $7.785 million, if I'm remembering that number off the top of my head, just, to avoid arbitration, extending his time in Cleveland for a little bit. Whenever I see something like this with a player like Steven Kwan, I kind of feel like it's just delaying the inevitable. But before we get into specifics, fellas, let's open it up. What do we have to say about the quote-unquote re-signing of Steven Kwan?
I mean, I'll go first. I mean, I feel like it's a layup of a move, right? I mean, I feel like you have to do this. If not, you should not be owning a minor league team, let alone a major league baseball team. But obviously, $7 million's a complete steal for Steven Kwan. Like you said, I do think we're delaying the inevitable. If you were going to resign him, I think it'd have to be this year because, I mean, year after year, he's just going to make more and more money as he just continues to prove why he's one of the best players in the major leagues. Both sides, defensive, offensive, gets on base nonstop, Gold Glove winner. So obviously, I think it's the right move. No questions asked. You don't trade him for prospects. Easy re-sign. You have to keep this guy on the roster. But like Nate said, I think you're just delaying the inevitable at this point.
That's sad. And Nate, I've got the figure pulled up here. Reading we talked a little bit beforehand, a Paul Hoynesy article from Cleveland.com, 7.725 million, which is absolutely a steal. We're following here. Thank you for everybody tuning in as well. Prospects of the Land, part of the Baseball Banter podcast group. Really appreciate Jeremy Larquente for having us all aboard. Thank you for all of those that are commenting. As Mike from across the pond, our faithful listener over in the UK, said, he'll be gone by the deadline if we don't have a good start to the season and offer him a proper contract. He's right. They'll use him as a bargaining chip, and It's sad. It's really sad. It was an absolute, like you said, Taven, a no-brainer. You needed to make that move. We talked about it when we were last on, and we went through the possibilities of roster moves and what would the roster look like if we did this, and this. We've got to get some bats behind this guy. Consistent bats. The key to those teams that I grew up with and really enjoyed in the 90s with Kenny Lofton at the top of the order, him getting on base, setting the table, and Kwan can do the same type of thing. He can be a contact hitter. He can get some power on it, although I don't know what happened to the vortex in right field last season. It was there for 1 year, and then it disappeared. I don't know what happened. The laws of physics went away, something along those lines. But no, a good deal. Certainly a no-brainer to avoid arbitration with Stephen Kwan. Tough business out there.
Yeah, it really is. And I bring up delaying the inevitable because, Ethan, you had read or heard something about what Josh Naylor said at his time. So feel free to share that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this is in the Paul Hoynes article. They talked to Josh Naylor when Seattle was in town last season. And he was mentioning that he says after the World Series, of course, Naylor signed a 5-year, $92.5 million deal. It says the Guardians, this is quoting Hoynesy, the Guardians, with few exceptions, have a track record of trading players who get close to free agency unless they can sign them to an extension. As Naylor told reporters during the Mariners' visit to Cleveland last year, and Nate and you and I were talking about this, don't quite understand part of the quote, but it says, I knew I was going to get traded eventually. This is Naylor speaking. A lot of us over there know we are, and it says in parentheses, going to be traded. We're not we anymore, but they know they are. I don't know exactly what that all meant, but again, the fact that he's talking about he knew he was going to get traded eventually. That's sad. He was, look, I know I wasn't upset that they traded Josh Naylor, to be quite honest. But the fact, if they did it only for financial reasons, that's what I take issue with.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And it kind of feels like the same thing is set to happen with Stephen Kwan here. We all hope that Kwan is an exception to the rule. Much like mentioned in the article, we all know the biggest exception. It's the guy that plays the hot corner. But we need to figure out a way to keep these players into this system. This has also been an offseason that we'll talk about later that's been very passive, and nothing really has happened up to this point until today, and we'll bring that up too. But, I mean, Taven, all very confusing, kind of a confusing quote from Josh Naylor, but what do you take issue with here?
I mean, it's got to be what Ethan said. It's not the fact that you're trading these guys. It's the fact that you're trading them for the wrong reason, and that's the financial spot. Obviously, these guys, they're all-stars, right? Naylor, I mean, you could make the point maybe he had a down year, cool, but I mean, the dude was an all-star, right? He was one of the biggest parts of that lineup. Everybody loved him in the clubhouse. His brother was on the team. There's really no reason to trade that guy other than the fact that he was hitting free agency and he was going to make more than $7 a year. So that's where we kind of have a problem with this. Stephen Kwan, obviously, in my opinion, he's a top 5 outfielder in all baseball, right? I mean, defensively, that's a fact in left field, but I mean, with the bat as well, yeah, he doesn't have the power, but I mean, top 5 contact, easy in the league. There's no excuse for him to be traded at all. And, if Jose Ramirez, same thing when we go back to him, what was it? I think now 5 or 6 years ago is probably when they extended him, I think 21, so maybe 5 years ago. Yeah, if he didn't take that discount, he would have been gone as well. So it just shows you I mean, the same thing that we already know is that the Dolans aren't going to dish out that money for the general manager to, make some moves. And it's not the GM's fault. It starts with the guys up top.
Right. The front office has done an immaculate and amazing job with what they've been given. They're telling them to go out and build a house. And they said, well, there's the lumber, but you've got no screws, you've got no nails, you've got no hammers, you have nothing. Oh, you also have nobody to work with. You have to do it yourself. I mean, they have tied their hands behind their backs and said, make it work. Yep. And when we look at, I'm just looking at, kind of some of the free agents and what's been going on. Dylan Cease goes to the Blue Jays, 7 years, $210 million, $30 million a year for Dylan Cease. Is he still that good? I think that's a bit of an overshot for a team that was like, 1 out away from winning the World Series. They were right. Obviously, that was an amazing end, and I apologize for my memory blank here. Alex Bregman to the Cubs, 5 years, 175. Serious?
Move of the offseason so far.
That's a lot of money. Good for him getting the bag. Pete Alonso, 5 years, $155 million.
Mm-hmm. Another big one.
Baltimore trying to go all in. I mean, now, did they not also designate John Kenzie for assignment? Didn't they?
And then
less than 24 hours after they
Man, that was a tough Christmas. That was a tough Christmas for Big Christmas. He got a big fat lump of coal. Schwarber, 5 years, $150 million from the Phillies. That guy is a poster child for being out of shape and making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Hits a lot of bombs.
He does.
Great. I mean, I'm looking at some of these other, moves. What do you guys think about the White Sox? All of a sudden, the 2 years, $34 million for Munetaka Murakami. I mean, where are they coming up with the money?
Imai went over to the White Sox. Same thing there. I mean,
they got like nobody in the stands. Where are they coming up with the money?
So the Guardians have made some other minor moves this offseason. Connor Holderman is now on the team. There are a couple other guys that have jumped in and out. But Stephen Kwan's got to be the biggest one. And then Sean Armstrong, who they don't sign for only $5.5 million. He's the fourth highest paid player on the team. That's
a joke. That's an absolute joke. And I cannot believe that we are having to have these discussions about the stupid, this is crazy. And we're going to be talking about, I know, Nate, you wanted to bring up, we're going to talk about what the deal is with the television rights and how that plays into it. And I mean, I am so sick of this guy coming up every time there's a discussion about money.
I do not have the money, okay?
I mean, why is it that he's always telling me this?
I do not have
I've heard
money,
you. I already heard you. Stop, okay? No, but seriously, this is crazy. You're seeing these other teams come up with money, yet we can't come up with. And Austin Hedges, top 5 highest paid. They pay him per chest hair. They pay him per chest hair.
That's pretty much why they do pay him, because all the chest hairs probably do something for blocking.
You know what? He reminds me of Eddie Harris, the character Eddie Harris on Major League. I got Crisco here. I got jalapeno. You rub snot on the ball. Ain't everybody got an arm like you. One day you'll have to do it too. Oh, I'm throwing all the junk I can out there.
Now, the Guardians are not alone for teams that just haven't made any moves at all. I mean, when we were on with Jeremy, he had laid out things to go try to grab Adolis Garcia, make a couple of trade moves, which we all felt like, hey, we'd love it if they would do it. But we also recognized then and there, they're probably not going to do it because of the organization and the ownership. And no matter what the front office wants to tell anybody, it's just not something that's going to be done. Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman are exceptions to the rule for teams that have signed with new teams. I'm going to use that argument. There are so many free agents that are still out there. Bo Bichette, Cody Bellinger, just a couple off the top of my head, and you could list out so many more. Guys, we have to dive into the conversation of now, why are not only the Guardians, but it seems like most of baseball is holding back. And the biggest thing is, Taven, I already told this to Ethan, but Tariq Skubal is asking for a lot of arbitration money, $32 million, which would shatter a whole bunch of records. What do you think the highest arbitration value a pitcher has ever gotten?
If I had to guess just off what you've said, I want to say 22.
19.75. It was Rich Hill.
Wow.
So, I mean, first of all, if
well,
Tariq
wait a
Skubal
second, wait a second. I don't want. Am I reading this right? It says here David Price holds the record for an arbitration eligible pitcher. 19.75.
Maybe it was David Price and not Rich Hill.
Okay, sorry. I just saw that and was like, wait a second.
It's okay. It's fine. I appreciate the correction. Rich Hill, David Price, two very, very old guys.
Who gives a crap?
Yeah, who cares? 19.75, and he's asking for 32. Because of all the money things, the Tigers are holding pat. I think that's worth every penny. You got to throw all the money you can over there. But this has been such a weird, lackluster, and disappointing off season because nobody's going anywhere, nobody's signing, no trades are being made that are earth shattering and shaking like we have seen in some off seasons prior. Guys, I just kind of feel like everybody knows what's coming, and I think we also all know what's coming, and that inevitably is going to be a lockout next season. Ethan, you've said that this is going to impact the game on the field. Taven, I'm sure you're going to say the exact same thing. At its core, to me, I don't know that it's quite apathy. I felt that way for a long time, and then I had one of my good buddies who also enjoys baseball as much as us three talk me out of that. Shout out Ken Keller. But this is, again, apathy is not the right word, but nobody's being proactive. Nobody's being reactive. They're just doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly.
It's
I mean,
hard
I think
to talk about.
That's why it's been uneventful. Now, I think the Guardians, I could definitely see the ownership and come out and say, hey, this is why we're not making any moves, which that's just a cover up for what they've been doing the past 5 years and not making any moves. Now, I have a question for you, Nate. Would this chance maybe keep Kwon around an extra year with maybe another team not wanting to make a move to go after Kwon? Might play into our benefit a little bit.
It could. So there are a couple of things that it could do. I mean, you're talking about two extremes here. One, it could mean that, low market, low budget, small value teams, small market teams, I guess you can wrap all that into one. Small market teams are either going to hold on to everything that they have or shell off everything. And you could see that being done with, I think, even the high market value teams, the big boys like the LAs and Yankees and Mets. I feel like you could also see them acquire a bunch of talent that they realistically can't afford, or shell out everybody, or the exact middle of that. Nobody could do anything. We could have a very lackluster offseason. We could have a very lackluster trade deadline. We could have guys that, simply take way less money than they know that they're worth just to play baseball this year, because everybody is being, again, not even reactive to what's going on. Nobody's doing anything. They're going to be reactive based off of, let's wait and see if we have a lockout. I think that's hysterical. We know that there's going to end up being a lockout. At least that's the way that it's trending, unless something gets done. And Ethan, we don't even know what the players want in this new CBA. No. We can theorize, but we have no idea.
They want the money. You're going to have to trade some things. The best example I can use, because we hear about it so often, is the NFL. Okay, everybody knows they've added games to the regular season, but what do they have to give up? It's a compromise to add an extra game. They said, okay, one less preseason game. You can only have this many padded practices, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a give and take, right? And baseball, they've got an issue. I feel like they've had way more labor stoppages and way bigger problems than other leagues. I think the NHL had it pretty bad. Yeah, and
The
they've had it
NHL is
pretty,
good now, but
they've had it
it was
pretty
bad.
bad. The NBA, they had a rough go of it a little while back. My brain is a little bit foggy right now, so I apologize for
It
not
was this
remembering.
century, if not just before.
Yeah, it wasn't like forever and ever and ever ago, but they've had their issues too. But baseball, it's not been that long since they've had their problems.
I want to say the last lockout type deal was, I want to say 2021. If I'm
Yeah, that sounds
correct.
right.
It was COVID.
It was
It-
right after COVID, that
Yes.
year after, and then they re-signed Jose. So maybe we have luck with the lockout. Maybe Stephen Kwan gets re-signed after the potential threatened one.
Yeah, we're gonna, like you said, yeah, December 2nd, 2021 to March
Yep.
10th, 2022, 99 days, according to AI. I'm just doing a quick search here. This is an AI overview. But I think so. It was ratified, ending the lockout, allowing the 2022 season to begin. So I guess it didn't really make too much of an impact there, but they have problems and we all know about it. We can see the writing on the wall. They're going to have to figure something out. What will players be willing to give up? What will ownership be willing to give up to make things work? We're talking about teams that have these bloated salaries. They've deferred the Ohtani deferred salary, $750 million, and they're at ninth in MLB history. But a deferred salary, this seems nuts that they're able to do this. That seems like that should be that should be against the rules. Hey, I'm just going to defer the salary. How the hell? How is this working? That's crazy.
There are a lot of things that you can go around and ask. How does this work? The bottom line is this: the lockout. And see, there you go. Taven, throw that one up there for Mike. The Cubs have deferred part of Bregman's salary, so it's a baseball thing, right? And look, they know they're going to get their money. They're just not getting it now. However, I will say this, right? Let's summarize this whole thing. The re-signing of Stephen Kwan is good. It's great. Again, quote unquote re-signing. You need him to be on this baseball team. Ethan, the thing that we were talking about that, ownership or whatever had come out and said is, we're not signing anybody else because we don't want to hinder the progress of these young bats. I will say this, and I'll flip the script and I guess play anti-Devil's advocate or Angels advocate for this sake. The Guardians might be set up in a situation that is much better than some of the other clubs out there because of how young they are. And because of, let's look at it in the grand scheme of things. Next year, sure. Could you lose Stephen Kwan to a trade? You can't avoid arbitration with him. That's fine. None of these other guys are going in for arbitration. And what if guys pan out? That's the biggest if. But the Guardians, I think we have to think, might be set up in a more advantageous position than some of these other teams because, again, we don't know what that CBA is going to look like. Even if the CBA comes out and has some sort of salary cap or floor, which I question even if that's going to happen. Probably not. The Guardians are going to be safe, really, no matter what happens apart from Stephen Kwan.
Yeah, and like you said, they're set up pretty well. Matter of fact, obviously Jose and Kwan are your biggest guys, and I think Jose, I want to say this and next year is all he has on his contract, which is tough to believe. Am I right on that? Through 27?
I'll do some digging into that, but
anyway, like you said, most of their big talent that's coming up, it's young, and it just got there, and like we met, you didn't mention yet Travis Bazzana. He's not even up there yet. And that's the biggest part, in my opinion. If he was already up there 2-3 years in, who knows what that would have meant. But, you're going to have him for many more years to come. A lot of control with him. CJ Kayfis, you're going to have him for a long, long time. Gavin Williams, a guy who's been up there, but, he still has a little bit to go. Same with Tanner Bibby's already re-signed. So, you have a lot of your young talent under control, with the exception of Quan. Clase was another one I would probably group into Quan, but he's already gone. So already got that over with. So Quan's really the only guy at risk here, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Right.
and to answer your thing about Jose Ramirez, this is year 5 of the 7-year extension. So we have next year, year after, and then 2020. He's a free agent in 2029.
Right. So I think that it could be very interesting the way things play out because of the way the Guardians have spent out whatever the outcome is of the labor negotiations and that whatever the new terms are of the CBA, where other teams are stuck going, oh crap, we've way overspent and there's going to be penalties. Maybe they're going to get put into the kitchen in the second apron, like in the NBA or, but the Guardians having not overspent might be as you guys have pointed out and noted, to their advantage. But again, Nate, you pointed it out. They haven't done anything. Taven, you guys have talked about it. There's nothing going on really for any team, and the Guardians haven't made any moves to really make us feel like, all right, this is it. This is a great move.
I just simply don't think they're going to.
No.
They definitely weren't going to this year. And I mean, depending on how things pan out, they probably aren't going to next year either, because now you're having the uncertainty of, hey, this is the final year of the current CBA. What's going to happen moving into next year? And now next year, it's going to be the uncertainty of, okay, this new thing just got signed. How does it work? We're not sure. Let's see it in action. And so I think these next 2 years are really going to be key and big on developing the talent that you have. Because I just don't see a team like the Guardians acquiring much of anything. Now, I think a lot of things can change that. I think a change in ownership can change that. I think a change in, I don't know, one of other varying factors. And for the last portion about this, Ethan, you had said, does the new CBA, if there's something in it that some of these owners don't like, can they say, all right, I'm out. I'm looking at John Fisher of the who knows athletics anymore, because all their Vegas trademarks.
What is the deal?
Declined.
What is the deal? Are they going to have to change their name totally?
They could go with the LV Athletics, but that sounds awful.
But I thought they were saying athletics was too generic of a term. If I read,
well, then maybe they go with the A's. I don't know.
I don't know. If I were Oakland, I'd try and pull some kind of a thing where, now I know this was a bit different, but now the Browns, they sued and they fought to keep all the records, the history, the team name, the colors when the team was moved to Baltimore. Maybe they could screw Las Vegas over for good measure by doing that. I mean, they could be the Las Vegas steal your team bastards or something.
The Elephants run it.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm looking at owners like John Fisher. I'm looking at a couple of these other small market teams, and Dolan here with Cleveland. I mean, could there seriously be something in this CBA that gets put into legalization that some of these owners might be like, you know what? Actually, we're good. We don't want to mess with that. We'll see ourselves out.
Yeah.
Hopefully. That's going to be about our only chance, in my opinion, to get Dolan out.
I mean, it sounds like, well, there were reports that he was going to sell the team soon, but then those reports also came along with, it's going to stay in the family.
Yeah. Oh, great.
So who knows what, family member.
I want to talk to David
Blitzer.
I will not pull an Aaron Goldhammer and call someone who we think is married to David Blitzer, except it's actually the widow of a person named David Blitzer, not the David Blitzer. And she said, he's dead on the air. Have you guys heard that story, or did you hear that on ESPN Cleveland?
Vaguely.
Yeah, they thought they were calling David Blitzer, and they reached someone who, it was a woman, and who must have had a spouse named David Blitzer, and she's like, my spouse is dead. And it's like, oh,
I hope that the conversation doesn't come to that. I hope that it can just be a nice, easy transition into ownership when that day does inevitably come. And I think we can all hope that it's sooner rather than later because, again, there's just so much. What are you going to do now, right? Are you going to stand pat and watch it play out? Are you going to dip out while you have the chance? I don't know. There's so much unknown. I think we have to wait for really next year's CBA and all the new legalized jargon to really get a good feel and idea for what this is going to be. And who knows when that thing even gets signed.
Yeah. What would you, okay, let me ask you guys this. What do you think would be reasonable for players, for fans, for owners? Would you be up for shortening the season? Would you be, I don't know to whose advantage that would be to. It obviously takes money out of the pockets of owners and player and as it goes down the hill to the players. But do you think you'd say, look, we're going to put some salary caps on here, but at the same time, we're going to shorten the season. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. I mean, what kinds of things would you see as potential bargaining chips for either side, guys? I'll, just throwing the question out there.
Go ahead,
For me personally, I mean, shortening the season, it would make a lot of sense in kind of the aspects that you just said. It would take money away from the players, the owners. Records would be pretty much unbeatable at that point, right? So I feel like you really couldn't just do it off of that alone. Me personally, me being selfish, baseball, my favorite sport. I don't want to lose out on any. But I do think the gain that you would get with that is that it would make each game more meaningful. I do think in the long run, even if you went from like 160 to if you were to shorten it, you would think 120 would kind of be that area they might go to, shave 40 off. But yeah, I just wouldn't see that as a bargaining chip for it. I think the NBA should go down 10 to 20 games as well. I don't think they'll ever do that either. Players definitely don't want that, even though they play probably 40 games a year. So I don't know. I just don't see that happening in the NBA or MLB here.
Yeah, my stance on all of this has really changed over, oh goodness, however many years. I feel like as I've grown older, I just continue to see a new perspective of things. And really the only way that I think a shortened season makes any difference to the players is obviously to their pocketbook. I mean, let's not get that twisted. Money is going to go down, or money stays the same and they just get more value per game, which I just don't think happens. I just don't think owners are going to want to, sell those things out. But, the only player that it really affects in a mostly positive way are pitchers, because it would probably limit pitcher injuries. It would probably limit Tommy John because you're not putting forth as much strain in your arm throughout a full season. You're not wearing down your bullpen as long. However, I will say this, 162 Guardians needed almost every bit of that to get into the playoffs this year. So I feel like we have a very unique perspective on it, at least from last season. And we've seen countless instances over the course of the season to where, it comes down to that last game. Mariners a couple years ago, when they broke back into the postseason, they needed every bit of that season. And, teams don't want to lose the revenue of the gate receipts. If, you're going to be shortening the season, ticket prices are going to haul way up because you want to keep the same revenue that you had for fans coming in. And, nobody is going to like paying more for a ticket. That's the nice thing about baseball. You can go buy a $10 ticket to sit way up in the 500 seats at Progressive Field, but you still have a good time because it's guard ball. You love going, you love watching your team. So I don't think they're going to shorten it, especially because, I think there's maybe not a good chance, but at least a chance that Major League Baseball can get on to 32 teams. I think they can put a team in Nashville. I think they can put a team in Salt Lake City. I think they can put a team in Portland. I think they can get the Montreal Expos back, which I just don't see happening. But, still something you have to throw out as a possibility. And, I mean, the National Hockey League in their new CBA that just got signed. I don't believe it's not this season, but maybe next season or the year after, they're jumping from 82 to 84 games. So they're
Really?
adding a whole extra 2 games. Yeah.
Okay, now that's been because they've been in step with the NBA at 82 games for as long as I can remember.
It's 84 now.
It's going to 84. I feel like though,
just basically going to add an. It's just basically going to add an extra week.
They start, but they also start their season a little bit earlier than the NBA,
and then they get done earlier.
And the finals finish right at the same time. The finals finish at the same time.
Just about.
And I don't know, and it seems like I don't know if that's by design or what the deal is with that. I guess my thought is, or my question would be, what do you think players would want out of a CBA? If we were to try and go to their minds, I mean, obviously they want to maximize their money, but what would they be willing to sacrifice if they said, okay, fine, you're going to cut this? Well, then we expect X in return.
I think that's tough because I kind of feel like every player is going to have a different wish list, if you will. I feel like, there are some players, the Guardians dugout's probably no different. You walk into the Guardians dugout and ask all 40 people on the 40-man roster, hey, what do you want out of a CBA? One guy is going to say, I want a salary floor. Another guy is going to say he wants a salary cap. Another guy is going to say, I want fewer games. I want more games. I want a longer season, shorter season. I want more primetime baseball. I want different media. Like, everybody's just going to say different things. So I think it's kind of hard to gauge as a whole. I think we can make a guess. I think players want to be treated more fairly by ownership and GMs, because I think that's been a problem in some organizations. I think they want to be treated more fairly. They've already solved the minor league issue of, guys making only $4,000 a year, living in their car and working still 20, 30-hour weeks at McDonald's to make ends meet. Like, that's a thing of the past, thank God. So, I mean, now I really don't know. I really don't even know what a consensus would be.
Yeah, I have no idea. Now, who is the current, president of the Players Union? Do you know off the top of your head? I'm sure I can look it up on Dr. Google here.
Well, Mike has been very helpful. Maybe we get our good buddy,
our correspondent, a correspondent across the pond, Mike, who is the biggest Cleveland fan I know, biggest Ohio State, Columbus, everything fan. Mike, always appreciate him tuning into all of our podcasts. He's amazing, good dude. But the MLB Player Union or players,
did it just change, or was that another league?
I don't know.
I want to say that
might have been the NBA.
Is it Tony? Well, let's see. The president of the MLBPA, Tony Clark.
I do not know who that is.
Yeah, he. Let's see. He's held the role since 2013, according to my quick research here.
Okay.
But we'll go. I don't know. I just am going to be real curious to see what ends up happening.
I mean,
in all of this, and I think as part of it, I know we wanted to talk about a little bit the TV revenue, the new TV deals.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah, and what does or doesn't make a difference there. It's ridiculous what's going on with these regional sports networks. I feel lucky though that the MLB took over the Guardians, and as someone who's out of market, being able to get the CLE Guardians.tv package for $100. And the only games I couldn't watch were nationally televised games or games that were local in my area. So I would be able to watch them just on whatever other feed. So if they were playing the Orioles or in the against the Nationals, I'd have to watch their broadcast. But 140 games out of 162 for $100 is a pretty darn good deal. I feel fortunate to have that available to me. The fact that it seems like teams are getting hung out to dry by these regional sports networks that are falling apart, the Diamond Sports Group and all this nonsense that has happened is kind of crazy. And Nate, you and I talked about it just briefly, and fill you in, Taven. I mean, is there a way that the MLB could draw something up and say, you know what? We're going to do this kind of like the NFL. We're going to control the media rights. We control the media rights.
I wish they would.
And we're going to sell it, and everybody is going to get the same piece of the pie. There's no more Yes Network. It's, you know what? Yes, it's going to be the opposite of the Yes Network. It's going to be the No Network. You're going to have No Network. Let's make it, everything is MLB. Every team is part of that. You can hire your own broadcasters as each team. That's fine and dandy, but it's all from the same pot. Everybody shares in it.
So here's I mean, you would have to establish the NFL streaming rights mentality in that, look, like everything's going to be on CBS, Fox, NBC, and then Monday nights is ESPN. But when you have the CBS and Fox games, it's airing on your local station. The power that these regional sports groups have is, we're not talking about a 17-game season. We're talking about 80 plus, 150 plus games. And then you even see some of these networks, air preseason games and spring training games. And that's what makes them really valuable. And they are valuable. So I don't know if you can fully take away the regional sports network, but looking at what ESPN, NBC, Netflix, they're all part of this deal. ESPN's going to get the big bet of it, while NBC and Peacock, I believe, now are getting Sunday Night Baseball. Netflix is going to start airing some games in which they just got to figure out how to do sports in general, because a lot of their broadcasts are awful. And yeah, I mean, pull this thing up from Mike here. Can't MLB have MLB Network as a network for the teams and then have a select of national TV games? I mean, you're probably talking about an NFL red zone sort of thing, but that would be every day for Major League Baseball. I think you're going to burn out your talent. I mean,
you know what?
Talking about
there's
sports,
plenty. Look, we're all talented.
professional.
We're all talented out here. Why aren't we there? Come on, we could do just as good, if not better, of a job. I quite frankly, I want to hear at Jim Rosenhaus at the corner. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm one of the people that doesn't mind Rosie, so I'm not.
I guess I'm partial to Hammy.
Yeah, but you're gonna. I mean, when you sit him in a booth with Tom Hamilton,
it's tough.
No debate.
It is very difficult to stand up to that. But I'm always so upset when that home run comes in the 4th or 5th inning.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh man, I just wanted to hear the Hammy call.
So let's take a look at this ESPN thing a little bit deeper. I mean, look, it carried baseball since 1990, and it's still going to carry baseball. But it's going to lose postseason games. That's now going to be the Turner, what used to be known as the Turner Sports Network, now the Warner Bros. Sports Network, TNT, TBS. Maybe you even see some stuff on True TV now, like we see with the NCAA March Madness tournament. They still do have the rights holder for MLB TV. What I can tell you is probably going to happen is, look, it's just another option. If you paid for Guardians TV this year and you still want to buy it, go buy it. It's a phenomenal product. You still get the great broadcasters over there. Even if you're someone that just listens to the radio broadcast for Hammy and Rosie, you're not affected by this at all.
Let me pause you. That is the best thing about the MLB TV, the Cleveland Guardians, CLE Guardians on TV. The fact that I can choose the radio broadcast synced up to the video. The fact that Amazing. I have that choice. That is unreal. I would love it. I don't know that you can do that on like NBA, the NBA ticket. I'm not sure if NBA League Pass. I don't think that's an amazing feature. I want to be able to do that on the Sunday ticket feature. Like, figure out a way where I still get the national.
I do that with a bunch of college football games. I just sit there, watch the game, sync up the radio broadcast.
Right, and I should, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to have to manually do that. What I'm saying is figure out a way where the television ads get played on the television, whatever the national TV ads are, and you kind of figure there's got to be a way to work it out, because I would do anything to be able to listen to a radio broadcast. I'd much rather, if I'm watching a Cavs game, what do I want to listen to? I want to listen to Tim Alcorn and Jim Jones. I don't mind, as opposed to a national broadcast. I don't want to listen to those guys. I'd much rather listen to the local guys. Of course, for a TV perspective, obviously, I love John Michael and Mr. Cavalier, Austin Carr, or Brad Daugherty. But again, it's kind of crazy. I'd like to see some more innovation out of that. And again, as we talked about, Nate, you and I did, that ESPN has the rights, but I don't think they're really going to be doing anything with it until not this season, but the following season in terms of the production, I guess.
Taven, throw this thing up from Mike, because this is also something I have a problem with. He's watching stuff legally. Everyone's going to have their pirating sites, and now people might be in shambles because Stream East got found out. But, Mike in the UK is watching things cheaper than we in the US can access them, and they're in our backyard. That to me is ridiculous. Now, who's to say that this new ESPN thing, what has happened with ESPN anyway, is most of the time, unless it's on, well, actually not even most of the time, there's one game a day that is on ESPN Plus, which I pay for, and I know a lot of other people that pay for it as well. One game a day. That probably might become 10 or 12 or 15 with all these teams that ESPN has picked up. So that's probably just going to end up being another option for consumers out there. Who's to say that that's still not going to get blacked out, which is another problem with, regional sports. If you live in the area, you're expected to buy their package. You can't just boot up your TV and get on, a local sports station anymore. You used to with cable. Now the people that have YouTube TV and Hulu, I think for the most part, you don't have that.
No, so, I'm gonna get out the tin foil. I'm gonna get the rabbit ears up, and I'll go over and punch somebody in the face and steal their cable box. Just kidding. It's crazy what it has come to, and even the NFL with all of these different services streaming games. The fact that Amazon Prime had the game last night. And interesting fact, if you go on, not on a mobile device, but on a computer, if you go to Twitch TV, the Amazon game is on there. Sometimes it buffers, but it's on there free. And we airplayed it or mirrored it to my TV, my smart TV. Perfect.
Taven, what say you about all the streaming stuff? And then we can move on to talking about our bread and butter.
I mean, it's, I don't know. It's just a whole mess. I mean, now you have, I saw something for just the NFL where it was some absurd amount of money if you wanted to watch every game of the year.
Yes.
Because you have, I mean, your local TV, then you have to, the ticket, and then Amazon Prime has the Thursday night games, then Peacock's Sunday night, and then Monday nights back to ESPN, and then over to Netflix for the holiday game. So it's just too much. I think they need to have something, which they never will, in my opinion, just because of how much money everybody else is making from this. But again, one thing, and if you buy the NFL ticket or the MLB ticket, no matter what, you should be able to get everything included with that ticket. In my opinion, if you're going to sell that like that, there shouldn't be all these blackout restrictions and whatnot if you go from there. But obviously, it's none of our calls. It's, look, money hungry.
And you can't fault the business for, putting up for putting up a time slot or saying, hey, Monday night games are available. Who wants it? And they're obviously going to go to the highest bidder. It's not like they can who wants it? Sorry, Netflix. We're not going to do that to you. Like, NBC, you've had it for a while. We're going to let you take a back seat this year. They're not going to do that. And legally they can't.
No. And what is it they always say?
It's not a private sale. Well, technically it is, but I think there's some legal thing.
Well, but what is it they always say? The value of something is what the market is willing to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so that's just unfortunately how it goes. And we all suffer as a result of that. And we have to figure out ways around it. If you need to know, I mean, Taven, you're a little bit older than my oldest, and he did find some good dodgy streams, as Mike in the UK would say, some dodgy streams, even since Stream East has gone by the wayside. We had to do some makeshift stuff there. But anyway, I digress, and let us proceed.
the only thing that I'll say to wrap this up is the effect on the Guardians. How much more money is it going to pull in? I think that's hard to tell. Who
I don't
knows?
think
Because
much, if any.
yeah, not much. I mean, maybe a little bit more, but I doubt the ESPN is going to be like, "Wow, you were our most watched team on ESPN." Like, here you go. Here's a nice. No, they're it's going to all be within the revenue package of Guardians TV and the
And
regional sports network. And
I hate to be that guy, but even if they were to get that boost, do we really think that that's going to be spent? I believe it's going to go
Yeah,
right into Dolan's
exactly,
pocket like
exactly.
everything else has been, or you're just going to give it a Hedges to sit on the bench and cheer. So,
Hey, he is very good defensively.
yeah, but too
Oh,
bad.
well,
That's
you know what? That's why you have him.
that's it.
If he's good defensively and can call a good game in the clutch,
Yeah.
I'll take that. I need a guy who doesn't give up a pass ball or whatever, and then there's no wild.
But I'd
pitches.
rather the money go there than sitting with Dolan.
That absolutely no, that is absolutely 100% on point. I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Guardians top 30 prospect list. Let's
well,
do this.
before-
Go
Before
ahead.
I don't know if you want to touch on it. I don't know if we did last time or how late this was that just happened, but the Rubber Ducks new ownership, if you want to touch on that.
Oh, yes, we absolutely should do that. Yeah, Taven, why don't you take it, because my memory is foggy on who exactly bought that.
A little bit too. I want to say I'm gonna pull this up.
I totally had forgotten about that. That's cool. Yeah,
The
so
rename of the stadium was 717
Yep,
credentials. So it's the
no longer Canal Park. Sad.
The Prospect Baseball Group to acquire the Akron Rubber Ducks. So don't really know what that consists of. Obviously, it's not one sole owner as it was Ken. Last name
Not Rosenthal.
Babby,
Yeah,
Babby,
yeah.
Ken Babby, longtime owner of the Ducks. But yeah, it's now sold. So
How is that going to affect the team,
Probably
if at all?
Probably not much. I mean, this
Yeah.
this group, Taven, what was it again? Baseball prospect something?
Prospect Group, I think. Pretty generic name.
Yeah, I know that they own some other
Prospector
teams
Baseball
there.
Group.
Yeah, so the Prospector Baseball Group, they also acquired the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp,
Which was also owned by Ken Babby.
Yep. So I mean, look, they probably own some other teams in here as well. We just don't know about them. But yes, they also have renamed their park 717 Credit Union Park. The biggest thing was 717. The credit union is what the Mahoning Valley Scrappers do in Youngstown, where they do 717 Day. So
Can I get
tickets are
give me
for like
some- Can I do a
$7
401k day? I would like some 8675309 day. Can we please do 867?
That would be a fun day. Everything is either I don't even know how you would incorporate all those numbers, but I'm sure that they'd do something. Okay, I am going to share the good old screen here because I have up the tweet from Guardians Prospective. Again, love everything that he does. He has been kept up this offseason way more than we have.
Yeah.
But Taven, if you want to throw that on the stage, we'll take a look down here at this bottom portion currently. So if I want to real fast, we'll click on the tweet. Spoilers. All right, whatever. Probably not that big of a spoiler anyway. So, okay. So this is according to Baseball America. This is not the MLB list. But as something is playing. I don't know what's playing.
Okay, I don't know.
Hang on
I
a
don't
minute.
hear
It's
anything in
probably
my end.
ESPN. Okay, something's playing for me, so I have
Okay.
no clue what's going on.
I
I
hear
don't
it.
hear anything on our end.
I
At
just
least on
heard
mine.
You don't hear
something.
anything?
I heard something a moment ago, but I don't know.
Okay. I'm hearing something right now. So
I'm closing every single window I have to make sure that I don't.
yeah.
Other than this, just to make sure. I don't think I do. All right, I've got nothing other than you guys. Are you still hearing something?
Yeah. Okay. I know what it was. Weirdly, my Spotify just started to play. So, interesting. Sorry about that. That got all discombobulated me. I hope that that audio did not go out. It was nothing bad. It was just Wu-Tang Clan, but
Well, that could have been bad. And all
Yeah.
right, drugs are bad. Okay, all right, drugs
Ah,
bad.
well, all right. All right.
All right, so we're talking about
Um,
Cleveland Guardians.
yes.
Perspective.
Let's get back on track. I'm so sorry that discombobulated me like that. I apologize. So
No
that has never
apologies
happened.
necessary. What is the deal though with Guardians Perspective reposting recently? They keep reposting the stupid thing about Ramirez breaking his silence on signing below
Yeah, I
market.
saw that.
Why do they keep bringing this crap up? It was an interview done like ages ago.
I think it was recent.
No, it was like, well, it first came up like at the end of or after the season, and it was like something that had occurred before the season, if I recall correctly. I looked what
I think the interview was done after the season. I want to say, but I mean, at least obviously Dolan's not going to care, but at least somebody's saying something.
I don't know. Hector Gomez, January 10th. I'm Jose Ramirez. I am very grateful. No, I'm very grateful with the Cleveland Guardians and its fans who have always supported me throughout my career. I feel I should stay here for the rest of my career because of the incredible treatment I have always received from the fans. I can't thank them enough for how loving they have been to me. So at least they've reposted that one. But there's this the mass.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I have it up.
You know
right
what I'm
here.
talking about, though.
Yeah, it says that was ultimately my decision to take the extension. Went through a year and a half of negotiations, finally signed, got a significant salary bump. I knew it wasn't fully reflected my market value, and plenty of people made sure to point that out to me. But I'm a veteran. I understand how the game works. Cleveland's a small market team. They simply can't pay me what I command on the open market. So I told them, let's find a fair agreement that works for both sides. I spoke directly with the GM. There were real trade discussions and offers from other teams willing to extend me at my full asking price, but my heart was set on staying in Cleveland. First and foremost, my children are born here. My wife feels comfortable in Cleveland. So do I. I owe the city a lot since the day I arrived. I've never once been booed by these fans. I've seen how crowds in other stadiums treat players when results don't come quickly, and that's never happened here.
Oh, you mean down at Brown Stadium where they happen? People, Dylan Gabriel.
A factory of sadness.
It is the fact. No, but there was something else that there was okay, so maybe I'm getting confused. So I'm an idiot. I'm going to shut up and let you talk about the top 30 prospects,
Sure.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, it's fine. Yeah, all right. Taven, Ethan, feel free to jump in. Taven and I, this is where we shine. So, top 30 prospects. Are we really surprised by anything in this top 5? I mean, there's a reason that I'm showing the top 5 and not much else. It's because I mean, Bazana DeLauder is the easiest 1-2 you'll ever have. Maybe you put Angel Yanao above Ralphie Velasquez, but I mean, my comeback, most improved player of the year, whatever we did. I mean, nobody did more value for his prospect ranking than he did last year.
Yeah, personally, I'm shocked he's not 2, in my opinion. DeLauder, the talent's there, no doubt about it, but just the injuries. Ralphie last year was on all year. I mean, he was my MVP of the minor leagues. Once he got to AA, it seemed like he somehow got better with the Rubber Ducks than when he was in Lake County. So, yeah, that's obviously a given there. And now, like you said, and then Messick at 5, not talent-wise, just because he's been to the majors. I know we've had our stance on that. If you're going to count him as a prospect, definitely he's in the top 5. But, I mean, he's played, 2.5 months, 3 months in the major leagues. So I wouldn't really count him as a prospect anymore. But if you are going to throw him on the list, he's definitely in the top 5.
And you're probably going to see him on the major league roster this year anyway.
No doubt about it.
Maybe in some capacity. Yeah, again, Mike, same thing. It's you have to play so many games. DeLauder, if he plays this year, is going to be considered a rookie. Parker Messick, when he plays this year, he's going to be considered a rookie. So it's something about game requirements and so on and so forth. So do we reveal one at a time or 5 at a time here, Taven?
We can go 5 because we're going top 30.
So there's your top 10. Braylon Doty, really highly touted high school kid.
Yeah.
Still making up high on the list. Here's one that might be a tad bit surprising that he's this high. Top 10, in my opinion, deserving of that. But Jace Laviolette obviously didn't play in the minors last year. He was the top draft picked by Cleveland in this past draft, 26th overall in the first round. Guy out of Texas A&M that can do a whole lot in the outfield. And at least as of this current moment, probably will end up starting the season in either Lynchburg or Lake County. And, really excited to see what he can bring. A guy that, much like Ralphie Velasquez did this year, can shoot up through the minor league system because he's a really talented ball player. Cal Steffen, who was the acquired piece from last year's trade with Shane Bieber. Again, saw his injury woes in Akron, and just when he pitched, didn't pitch that well. He'll get a full season. He'll get a healthy season, see what he can do. And then Jason Churio, who's got to stay healthy. And my 2-time MVP of the minor league system, Cooper Engel, is down there. Who knows? I mean, if this is something to where Bo Naylor's not going to work out, they want to ship him off or just flat out cut him, then Cooper Engel could be shot up there. Cody Huff could be a guy they move in, but obviously Cooper Engel has got more talent than Cody Huff. So Taven's, there's your top 10. What do you make?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everybody on this list. I do think Engel is, he's 6 at minimum. You could even make the case for the top 5, and I would probably be one to make that case. I'd probably put him over Angel Hanao. Just personally, that's no shade to any of these guys, but Cooper Engel, just the things that he's been able to do as a catcher, absolutely unreal. Doty, young high school prospect, right? A ton of upside. That's why he's on this list. Struggled a little bit last year in Lynchburg. I don't think we'll see that this year. I think they're going to work with him, especially in the spring training. We're going to see him start the year in Lynchburg very strong, and I think he'll end up in Lake County, no problem, by the end of the year. Laviolette, he's got to stay healthy, but if he does, I think they start him in Lake County, and he'll be good to go. Cal Steffen, same thing. Injuries kind of hurt him last year. And Churio, same deal with him. That's 7, 8, 9, part of that list. It's just been injuries. If they can stay healthy, though, without a question, they have the talent. I think those are your top 10. The order could be adjusted slightly here and there, with the exception, I think Cooper Engel's probably I think he's in the top 5, but again, that's your top 10. No complaints at all.
Well, it's interesting when you talk about the top prospects, and you're basing it on potential, not a matter of who might make a more immediate impact. Right. Because certainly some of these guys are further away than others. We've talked about Cooper Engel and where he's been at, and he's certainly closer to being with the ball club, and obviously Parker the Major League Ball Club, and Parker Messick obviously has been here. So it's kind of an interesting way to look at it when you're talking about these prospects versus who's actually making the impact.
Well, I think you bring up a very good point, and I'm not one to say these rankings don't mean necessarily a lot, but I don't really lean into them as much of where guys are ranked. From just watching and doing the podcast and all that, I think me and Nate kind of come up with our own, assumption on guys and how much potential they really have and where they kind of fall. But guys we've seen in the past, like Shane Bieber, he was never a top 5 prospect. He was, I think, 17 when he was in Akron. Stephen Kwan was not even a top 30 prospect when he was with the Rubber Ducks. And obviously he's an all-star now, and guys above him at the time were, I believe, I want to say when Kwan was down in Akron in 2021, Bobby Bradley was at the top of that list, and now he's playing Savannah Banana Ball. So you got to take these rankings with, a grain of salt at times. Obviously, your big names are going to be at the top, and most of the time they hit. Travis Bazzana, Chase DeLauder, Ralphie Velasquez. Those guys, without a doubt, are probably your top 3 in the minor leagues. But if you really look into, how these guys from 17 to 30 have kind of performed, I wouldn't just look at kind of where they're ranked. These guys have really good potential.
And I think one of the guys, too, you saw a little sneak peek of it right there at number 11. Rafi Velasquez did so much for his stock, but I think right up there with him, a guy that just did so much for his value last year was Juniker Caceres. Now, that name might not seem super familiar to a lot of fans out there, but it's because he started in ACL ball.
That's
he started
a 17-year-old.
Yeah, he started in the complex league. Obviously now is 18, is a legal adult in the U.S. But before he was that, when he was still considered a kid, a child, a teenager, he was hitting lasers off of dudes. He would hit, just about everything. And not necessarily for power, but boy, can this guy get on base? Can he run the bases well? That's another guy that, look, you want someone to shoot up through the prospect system this year, watch out for that name. And who knows if he's going to end up seeing Cleveland, but that's a guy that, just shot his way through the ACL system once he got going and ended the year in Lynchburg. I would hope he starts the year in Lake County. But much like to Taven's point, Ethan, and dear viewers, that's a guy that, look, you can't take that ranking into consideration in terms of what he has shown us and the potential that at least I believe he has. You could make the case for him being top 5.
Yeah, and I think, that goes to just show how talented our farm system is. I think you take a guy like him and you plug him into somebody in the back half of, the minor league farm system, he's easily a top 6 prospect in somebody else's farm system. Not saying Cleveland's the, definite top farm system in the minor leagues, but a guy like Caceres, like you said, he skyrocketed last year. Same with Joey Oki and a lot of these other guys on this list. So, this is obviously going to fluctuate as the season goes on. But like you said, a young guy, 11, I wouldn't take that into too much consideration.
And much like Ethan was talking about, you see Juan Brito down there at 15.
Yeah.
A guy that, we were talking around this time last season. We believed he was going to get the start with the major league team, and he saw no action last year at all. It kind of culminates in, look, Juan Brito, a guy that maybe does not have the most tremendous upside out of some other infielders, looking at Travis Bazzana, looking at Rafi Velasquez, maybe even a guy like Dean Curley, who just got drafted last season. This is a guy in Juan Brito that could make an immediate impact with this club next season if he gets the call and if he gets going. But otherwise, Jacob Cozart right up there with Cooper Engel. We had this conversation. You want to move on from Hedges eventually. Bo Naylor just doesn't cut it this year. Maybe David Fry never gets back to what he was, and you just want to take him off the field entirely. But Juan Brito is a guy that can make an immediate impact. Sorry, I'm talking about Cozart here. Jacob Cozart up there with Cooper Engel. That very well could be your catching 1-2 duo. Maybe mix in Cody Huff sometime in there. I think the guy that's most notable on this list, though, outside of Caceres to me, is Juan Brito because of what he can do with the team next season. He's down at 15 because he didn't get that shot last year. And much like some guys we've seen in the top 10, he's just got to get healthy and get right.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason on why he's 15, right? We've seen him in the top 10 before, and obviously he has that top 10 potential. But he was injury ridden last year, right? And that's a big reason I think why he fell. Definitely top 10 talent, but he's got to be able to stay healthy, and he's got to be able to produce at that AAA level, and especially in spring training, if he wants that chance. Rocchio and Arias, they really turned it on at the end of last year.
Also one of only 3 guys that we've seen on this list so far that are on the 40-man roster, that being Juan Brito, also Chase Stillwater, Chase Stillwater and Parker Messick. Bazzana, we assume will get there at some point this season. Yep. We'll move on down the line here. There is 1 through 20. Ignore the other stuff that's going to come up there on the side. But there is 1 through 20. And Taven, the guy, look, Andrew Walters can we still, again, this is another conversation. Can we still consider him a prospect because he didn't pitch much of last year? He might still be a rookie this year because of game qualifications. But he's a guy that's also on the 40-man roster. Daniel Espino, same thing. But much like Juan Brito, he's got to be able to stay healthy. Yorman Gomez is the name that is really interesting to me because I think Welbin Francisca, it's going to be a slow build with him, especially because of all the middle infielders that this organization does have. It'll be a slow build through the minor league process for him. But Yorman Gomez pitched flawlessly last season. And, he continues that. Another guy that can shoot through the system.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Yorman Gomez, I want to say was my Cy Young. I know that was probably a while ago. It was only probably a month ago. But
yeah, I think it was between him and Steven Perez, right? Oh, no, that was reliever. So
yeah, he was up there, though. I mean, it was him, Peterson. Those were the top dogs. And I mean, Yorman Gomez is an absolute unit in Double-A. I think that's where he'll start this year. I think he'll end in Columbus, potentially Cleveland if a lot goes right. It's going to be tough to go
wrong, depending how you look at it.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough jump from Double-A to the majors, but no doubt he'll be in Triple-A. I mean, the dude's got all the stuff. What sticks out to me is Daniel Espino at number 17, and that's not a dig to Espino because before he got hurt, he was obviously the number one prospect, the number one dude everybody was talking about. But we haven't seen him pitch in a game
forever.
Actually, I think that's wrong. If you do remember, I think he pitched the last game of the season for Columbus.
Yeah.
So, but before that, consistently, it was May of 2022. I was not even in high school yet, and I'm about to graduate. So that shows you how long it's been since Espino has been fully healthy, ready to pitch. We'll see what he can do this year. If you ask me, I think you turn him into a reliever, just try to get him into games and healthy playing baseball, just whatever, right? Doesn't have to be a starter. Just get him on the field playing baseball. We'll see what they do with them this year. I think they're going to go the starter route. That's what we saw that last start in Columbus to end the season all the way back in September. But we'll see what happens with Espino. But that's definitely the guy that sticks out to me. Maybe not just 16 through 20, but on the entire list.
There is one little bit. There's 1 through 25. So we'll talk about 21 through 25. Again, a lot of guys that got drafted
Petey
this past
Halpin.
year. Nolan Schubert, Aaron Walton. Yeah, Petey Halpin's definitely the one that sticks out to you on this list because
I loved him.
Rosario,
I loved his hustle.
Yeah.
He was amazing to come up on short notice, and he's a hustle guy. I want to see more of him in the Guardians, playing in Cleveland.
Also, I think a guy that is on the 40-man roster. He is. So, Taven, that's the most interesting one out of here to me. I don't really have too much other than to say, I think you can see the upside with these guys in Aaron Walton, Nolan Schubert, some guys that were high-value draft picks for the Guardians this past season. So, still really don't quite know everything that they're about from a professional standpoint. But Petey Halpin, guy that can bring the most immediate impact, even though if he doesn't have the highest of upside. Alfonso Rosario has seen his ups and downs. Same thing with Josh Hartle. That's really all I have to say about this trope of 5 players.
Yeah, you go down the 5 players. Schubert, Walton, low-A champions. Obviously, they're really young guys. They're going to get their shot this year. We'll see what they can do. But, again, too early to tell with them. Hartle, really solid relief pitcher. Alfonso Rosario was a trade piece 2 years ago for Eli Morgan. We're going to see what he can do. Big power bat. I love everything that dude's about, so it's going to be fun to watch him. But, obviously, Petey Halpin sticks out, right? He's got the contact. He's got the speed on the base pass, which is huge. The glove in the outfield. I mean, he was my defensive player of the year. That dude's an absolute machine in the outfield. Doesn't have crazy power, but I mean, not a lot of guys built like him do. I mean, you're not really going to have that power and speed combo. You're not really going to see that a lot. But I mean, the contact, the base running is the biggest thing you're going to get with him in a hustle player. He's going to play anywhere in the outfield you need him to. He's going to play tough every single time he gets a chance. I love everything Petey Halpin's about. Kind of reminds me of Tyler Naquin from 2016, but love everything he's about.
Get him up here now. Get that guy up here now. I want to see him wake up from his bed outside of spring training because they took him out of the dorm and then run the 40-yard dash. Like, who's this guy? And give him a uniform, a la Willie Mays Hayes. You talk about it, Taven, the fact that he's got the speed, he's got the glove. our defense in the outfield has been atrocious. Other than Stephen Kwan. We don't have other, God bless Jose Ramirez for his ability to steal bases, but how nice would it be to have another guy who can consistently reap havoc on the base pads, get him on base and let him do some work. I don't know if you guys saw this, and this is an interesting question. I'm curious myself. At the end of the year, we went with a 6-man rotation. What do you guys think that they'll continue that, or was that just an experiment to get to the end of the season, try and finish it out, making that great of a comeback and making up all that deficit?
I think it's something they had to do, barring where they were. Just really quick thoughts on it. It's something they had to do because of the position they were in. Just keep guys fresh, pull out a fresh guy there every single day. But apart from that, I don't think any major league team should be starting that 6-man rotation unless you have the guys to do it. I just don't know if Cleveland's got the raw potential to do it, because when you're looking at that 5th starter, it's Logan Allen, it's Joey Cantillo, it's Parker Messick. I just don't know if you can pitch all 3 of them.
Yeah, I think it goes to the talent if you have it. We've seen Cleveland do this in the past. I want to say 2017 when you had the greatest rotation I've ever seen in my lifetime, when you had Kluber, Carrasco, Bauer, Clevenger, Salazar, the other name, Josh Tomlin, I think, and then Bieber. You had those 6 guys going. I think you had the talent for sure then. Obviously, that's nowhere near what it is now. I think you go 5. I think that was an experiment to see what you got. I think you have a lot of contenders for that number 5 pitcher. And I think that's why you kind of did that at the end or the beginning of the season last year, where you're kind of caught between a Cantillo, an Allen, a Doug Nikhazy, which we haven't seen since he fell apart against Baltimore. But I think that was just kind of test the waters and see what you have. And I wouldn't be shocked if they did that at the beginning of the season this year.
26 through 30, you're looking at 2 guys in Dowry Fernandez and Gabby Rodriguez, 2 guys that are really, really young, but more middle infielders that have some high potential up here. And then, like you said, Doug Nikhazy down there, Will Hines, Rafe Schlesinger, who is on this list now. He's starting to come into his own a little bit. So, good job and good things there. I really don't have much to say about the bottom part of this list, Taven, if you don't.
No, like you said, I think Nikhazy's a little low, especially from what we've seen with him. But I guess they had to take into account what he did at the major league level and kind of went down, and he wasn't the same guy after that. So, but other than that, like you said, Gabby Rodriguez, the other Gabby Rodriguez, not the one we've had a couple years ago. Him, Fernandez, Hines, really young guys. We'll see what they can do there. And Rafe has a ton of potential. And a big weekend ahead of him, Miami Hurricane.
Missed Angel Yanal being a part of the 40-man roster there as well, so do apologize for that. When you take a look at the current MLB .com list and you compare back and forth, there are a couple of notable exclusions. Peyton Pallette, who is a very new addition to this team, is on that list. He's going to probably be on that major league roster as a bullpen arm. And, he is there on that list. I believe he was the Rule 5 pickup that we got. Robert Arias is 22nd on MLB.com. Nowhere to be seen on that list. And then, Austin Peterson, I don't believe we saw him there. Still a guy that I think, tremendous high upside. We've obviously seen what he can do. Luke Hill is, I don't believe, on this list. Nope, he's not. But again, we're talking about guys in the low 25s, guys that are really, really tough to try to nail down, and guys that even are playing some really, really low-level baseball as of this current moment as well.
I will say, guy I'm shocked is not on here, Tommy Hawk.
Yeah. Wow.
Really shocked.
That is absolutely a very big miss because of, just what he did last season. But that is all, again, according to Baseball America. So, diving into a little bit of what's to come this year. it's just going to be a lot of young talent, really the way that I
Right.
see this season for Cleveland. And, could the Guardians be put in a position from a prospect standpoint to where, you obviously only have 26 spots to fill for the opening day roster. You only have so many position players. You only have so many guys that you can fit in there. I think it's fascinating to me to see who gets that shot, who winds up in Columbus. And Cleveland, one of the few organizations around Major League Baseball to where spring training is going to mean a lot.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Final thoughts from either of you two?
I think we pretty much hit everything.
Yeah, I think so too. Unless, anyone that is watching the stream currently has some things to ask us. Well, yeah, I say maybe 10 more minutes and then we'll call it. Unless we don't have anything, then we can get off here. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, a lot going on around Major League Baseball right now. There's a whole lot of unknown besides the fact that spring training is about a month away.
Pitchers and catchers reporting. I remember my dad used to always talk about, X number of days, pitchers and catchers reporting, X number of days, pitchers and catchers reporting. And I always just recall that in those early days of listening, on the radio to the Cactus League or the Grapefruit League. And it's kind of funny. The Cactus League, the Grapefruit League. Did we ever, I understand why they are named as such, but why'd they do that? What's the deal with the Cactus League? Is it a bit prickly out there?
Pitchers and catchers report, by the way, on February 10th. So literally less than a month away.
That's
Wow.
amazing. That's
Wow.
crazy. I'm still thinking about cold weather. I'm not thinking about spring training and baseball, like we've talked about at the outset, about how long of a season it is.
I mean, we're going to get the Super Bowl that Sunday before, and then that 10th is a Tuesday. We're in baseball mode. Football's done.
As soon as football's over, it's that.
It's baseball time. It's end of the year NHL, NBA postseason runs. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, one thing. Thank you, Mike, for putting that up. No updates on Clase or Ortiz. I have not had the heart to go look at the court documents yet. But yeah, I mean, something that is just not there. And yes, thank you, Jeremy. We're always in a baseball mode. Okay. We love watching football. We love watching the basketball thing, but baseball. Sold myself out. Don't do that. Baseball always is on the mind here in the land. So, Guardians been pulling their weight.
Yeah.
Well, and they probably can do it again this season, even with the young trope of players that they do have. This is a division that could very well be up for grabs this year, especially if the Tigers lose Skubal, which is still a possibility.
Yeah.
Do you think they're still, obviously they bounced back, they blew the division, but then they came back and were able to pull out the playoff, the wild card series win over the Guardians. Do you think because they were able to do that, you don't think there's any lingering effects mentally for them?
I mean,
I
baseball is weird. So
I would say it's tough to shake. I mean, obviously they came back and they won against us, but I mean, you blow that type of lead in that little bit of time for the division. They haven't forgot about it. That's for sure.
No, absolutely.
I don't know how you can. I don't.
No.
I mean, the fan base probably is like, all right, whatever. We got them in the playoff series, so who really cares? But
no, that's what that is their way to cope. Is they come back with, well, we got you in the playoffs. You bring up the historic collapse, and their response is, so what? We got you in the playoffs. It's funny how the psyche, the mind works. To try to get over things the way we handle it and we look at it. It'll be a very interesting season. Obviously, the Twins, they sold everything. I mean, and the White Sox, they have sucked. They have sucked, but suddenly they're finding money there. I think this is the Guardians division to take.
And then the Royals are just there, it seems.
And what
like.
is going? Yeah, I
think
forgot that.
I
I had
just
them
think
winning. I had them winning the
82
division last
games.
year.
You did.
Yeah, I had them
I didn't
winning the
see
division
it.
last year because
I
all the talent's there.
the
It is.
potential's there. I don't know. I don't see the
So,
pitching side of things. Obviously, you
Yeah.
have Bobby Witt and Perez to carry the batting order. But again, you look at a team like the Guardians and you kind of say the same thing. Outside of Jose and Quan, what do they really have? Not much.
Well,
Name-wise,
Michael Garcia was a massive piece to the Royals this year. So there's part 3 for what the Royals have, and they were able to bring him back, which is a good deal for Kansas City. They're going to need him.
Yep.
But I entering next season, because there's some uncertainty with Detroit. I mean, they get Skubal back. We know they're going to be dangerous. Kansas City to me is still the team to watch. You've seen even Guardians teams have that lackluster performance in sort of these middle years. They make the playoff with a promising roster. Then the next season, they underperform. The Guardians have done this on multiple different occasions. This should be the year that Kansas City bounce back, either wins the division or nabs a wild card spot and then cruises.
Well, I think there's no debate. It's a 3-team race. I don't think anybody's counting on the Twins or the White Sox to really make a run of anything here. So it's a 3-team race, but we'll see.
We got a lot of baseball ahead of us, don't we, boys?
Yeah.
Short season's not shortened yet, if it ever will be. So
No, it is not. No, it is not.
Ethan, you just did a Crunch podcast. Indoor soccer is in Cleveland. Talk about that and where else people can find you.
All right. Hey, actually, well, thank you very much for asking about that. Yeah, the Let's Go Crunch podcast. We are a part of the Land Media Group. Great folks over there. Do the podcast with my guy, Andrew Hagenbaugh. And if you follow me on my socials at egreen4325, I'll be posting updates and sharing links and information for the Crunch podcast. That's fantastic to have the Crunch being able to play back downtown at the Wolstein Center. Of course, have Going Nuclear full-blown coverage of the Land. That is part of the Collecting and Connecting Good Vibes community. Really appreciate those folks over there. We have a lot of great people who chime in on that. And of course, everything that's going on over here with Prospects of the Land and the Baseball Banter broadcast, podcast group. This is all fantastic. Thank you for asking. And as always, appreciate being here with you all.
And the Crunch look like a wagon, by the way. So, all right.
Yeah.
Taven, how about you, sir?
Yeah, everything Stark County basketball related. Stark Sports coverage over there on Instagram. Got a lot of good teams this year. Got the Hoover Vikings. They're 9-2 start. Massillon Tigers 7-1. The McKinley Bulldogs 8-2, looking to make a state run. Alliance Aviators, they knocked off McKinley. They might have some potential there too. So you got 4 really powerhouse teams this year for Stark County. Basketball is always a good time. Your Glen Oak Eagles 3 in a row, Ethan. They're back.
What happened in that game against McKinley? Were they not up? I tried to find the score. I saw the story. They were up by some astronomical amount, and all of a sudden they blew it.
So they were up 27 points in the middle of the third quarter. McKinley comes all the way back. And did they hit
a 3 to put it into overtime?
They hit a 3 to put it into overtime and then ran away and won by 10. It was the third most points scored by McKinley ever. It was something. I want to say the stat was, I think they said there were 68 free throw shots the entire game. It was a lot.
I covered a game like that.
That is absolutely brutal. And what I will say to you fellas is this: enjoy covering high quality high school athletics, because when it's not good quality, it's harsh. It is harsh, and I will leave it at that.
Well, out here in Logan and Champaign County, Ohio, we got some good teams of our own. Logan County boys, West Liberty Salem boys and girls. There's some good potential within other teams present throughout the region as well. But especially those 3 are the teams that I would really, really watch in terms of postseason runs down there in Division 4 and 5, respectively, in the Ohio High School Athletic side of things. If you're a college football fan, follow me, Tailgate Nate, right here on YouTube, if that is how you are watching this live stream. Otherwise, if you're watching on Twitter, follow me, this handle right here at Tailgate Nate 29. Same handle on Instagram, even Snapchat, but hardly use that one anymore, as I think that one's going by the wayside. Otherwise, they'll follow everything here. The podcast, you'll see the handles in a minute, but it's at Prospects OTL. And as soon as we dive into the season, you're absolutely going to see the content ramp up and shows to come more by the regular here as we dive further and further along. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on with spring training this year, which is something that, we have not done previously, but hey, we'll let you know everything that's going on and any major developments within Major League Baseball. The same thing. You'll get the opinion from the team here at the Land. Taven, you're always the one that signs us out of here, so take it away.
There it is. We'll do it again. Well, appreciate all 45 of you sticking with us on this playoff Sunday. A lot happening. Didn't know what it was going to look like, but 45, great number to hit. Appreciate everybody sticking with us.
See, and there are people that are still in baseball mode. So
there we go. Always got to be in baseball mode.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate everybody.
Chargers Patriots just hit halftime, by the way, 6-3.
6-3. A lot of close games, a lot of good games.
Fantastic games.
Yeah.
Great games. All right.
Well, appreciate everybody sticking with us, and keep an eye out on the socials for the next time you'll see us. Have a good night, everybody.